Morning everyone. Thanks for tuning back into another video. This morning I'm on my way to nature reserve in North Tyneside to try and photograph some red squirrels. Red squirrels have been a little photographic treat of mine over the years, and the last time I photographed any was probably, I would say, three and a half years ago, and that's not for the want of trying. I've been to a couple of locations in County Durham where you were almost guaranteed to see red squirrels, but unfortunately for different reasons that population of red squirrels has diminished and has either died or it's reduced to such low numbers that it's very hard to see them. So the last time I tried to photograph any there was probably about 2 months ago. Didn't see any. Got speaking to a couple of great photographers, wildlife photographers, Gordon and Neil, at a place in Durham, and they told me if I'd go to another location in Northumberland, but unfortunately they've also had their red squirrel population wiped out, I believe, by squirrel pox. So I'm off to Cramlington. It's just after 6 o'clock. The sun has just risen and it's a nice morning. It's not cold, but it's not warm. It's not windy, it's just nice and calm. Red squirrels are brilliant fun to photograph, really good, very entertaining. If these red squirrels are actually at the nature reserve, then I've got a new lens for to try out, and this lens has been keeping me occupied this past couple of weeks. I've traded in an old lens for to get this one. It's a Tamron 150 to 500mm. Now, if I put a 1.25 crop on it, that gives me some extra reach as well. So I'll be using that lens today because it's so good, the wildlife side. But I'm not a twitcher, and I have to admit that when I used to see kind of birders out and about taking pictures of different birds, I used to think, God almighty, that looks so insanely boring. And now that I've got this 150 to 500 Tamron lens, I find myself doing the same thing, going out and taking pictures of birds, and it's strangely very addictive, very therapeutic, and very frustrating. Wildlife is frustrating. I photograph wildlife, seals, dolphins, whales, owls, but that's all I photographed. Birds are a different matter. They're very scally and flighty and speedy. So it takes a bit of skill for to try and develop your skills for to try and photograph them. Red squirrels are very quick, very scatty, not very predictable in the movements and whatnot. I'll find, in any case. It's a challenge for to photograph them, but it's a great one for to see. So I'm hoping that I do get to see them. With this lens, the 150 to 500, I am not entirely sure if I'll have it on manual. I might just be a bit lazy and have my set on auto and let it cope with the different light conditions and whatever. I will be using the Fuji XT5, that's my only camera. I have got another one, but it's old. It's a backup. It's a backup. Fuji XT5 is my main camera, and that is about it. I'll test So I've just arrived at East Cranbrook Nature Reserve, and it jumps out as somewhere that I doubt, that doesn't seem like there'll be red squirrels here. There's a housing estate, industrial estate, very close by. I could be very surprised and find some straight away, but immediate impressions aren't giving me much hope. So we'll see what happens. Well, what a surprise that was. My initial impression of this place was, I was mistaken. Initially I thought, oh, you know, I've got up early for nothing, because there was no red squirrels anywhere that I could see. I walked for a good long way around this huge site, and nobody that I bumped into seemed to have seen any before or anything like that. So I sat in the woods for probably about 45 minutes, and all of a sudden, just up in one of the pine trees, there was a rustling, and when I had a look through the camera, it was a little red squirrel, and it spotted me, and it was jumping from tree to tree, way too high for me to get any decent pictures. And then I spotted it run across the little path here. So I went across the little path, and I spotted it just sitting on one of the logs with its back turned, and then it disappeared for another 15 minutes, which was disappointing. So I sat for a little bit longer, and then out of the blue, it just came running along to one of the feeders that they've got here, and just sat there taking the nuts out of the feeder. And it was a beautiful dark red squirrel, looked very, very healthy, and I'm absolutely over the moon to have spotted one for the first time in years. The first time in years that I've spotted one, and it's so close to home. Here's the pictures and a little video of it having something to eat. I'm over the moon. It makes getting up early so worth it when you get little. It's not little at all, it's big victories is that, to see a beautiful little red squirrel. And when I said earlier that I was going to use automatic settings, I didn't. I was using 250th of a second and ISO 800 for to get the sharp shots right here.